Hello and welcome back to the Crew Motorfest, and in this video we're going to be diving into a few different things, including my first impressions of the game. We're also going to be talking about some of the various community impressions that I've been seeing. We're going to address some comments that I've gotten on some of my videos in Motorfest, and we're also going to be talking about some of the wacky comparisons that have been made between this game and other prominent games in this genre. And while we're doing all of that, enjoy this pure chaos of online racing in the background. These were some of my very first online races, and I'm still kind of getting used to the physics systems, so that's why it's going to kind of be a little bit all over the place. But again, these online races are more just for fun and more to just enjoy, again, the sheer chaos of how wild and all over the place this game is. So without any further ado, let's dive right on into some of my thoughts and some of my feelings. Now, right out of the gate, the first thing I want to address is a comment that I see more than basically any other comment on both my content on Motorfest and even other content that I have seen, and that is people going, oh, it's a quote-unquote rip-off of Horizon, or it looks too much like Horizon, or why would I play this when I could play Horizon, and blah, 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 blah. But the biggest thing I want to focus on there is people saying that it is a quote-unquote rip-off of Horizon, because while they do share certain elements, the Crew Motorfest being a ripoff of Horizon is, in my opinion, completely and entirely false, and I'm going to explain why. To understand this, we first need to understand that yes, Forza Horizon, and specifically Forza Horizon 5, is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, arcade racer on the market right now, especially open world arcade racers. And thus, it ends up being the arcade racer that a lot of people will judge every other arcade racing game or open world racing game against. Now, if you look back many years into the past, when Test Drive Unlimited rose to prominence and became the kind of online open world racing sensation that it's still regarded as today, you know, back then, a lot of people said that the very first Forza Horizon was quote-unquote copying Test Drive Unlimited. And so I think that when someone says, oh, XYZ game is copying another game because it features certain elements that might be prominent in the more popular game at the time, I don't think that that constitutes just completely writing it off as a quote-unquote copy or ripoff, because the experience that you have in Motorfest is vastly different from the experience that you have in Forza Horizon. Now, I'm sure that some of the people saying this are maybe just wanting to defend their favorite game or their favorite franchise, which there's nothing wrong with wanting to defend your favorite franchise, but at the same time, attacking a different franchise because it has some elements of your favorite franchise simply by saying, oh, it's unoriginal and it's a copy, when in reality, these games have totally different communities, totally different game worlds, totally different physics systems, and totally different approaches to the way the gameplay works. I don't think, oh, this game is copying the other. I don't really think that is a, not necessarily not a valid criticism, but I don't think it's even a worthwhile thing to go after a game for. Because as time goes on, some games, especially games within the same niche, open world racing games, I feel like it's kind of inevitable that some of them will share similar traits, especially traits from the one that is the most popular at a large scale at that time. And I think that really when you look back at the history of racing games, we've seen overlap in features and overlap in gameplay dynamics, you know, obviously done in different ways with different physics systems, but you're going to see dynamic overlap happen across really a huge variety of different games. However, I do want to say, though, that this is not some, you know, endless praise of Motorfest. This is not to say that Motorfest is some absolutely perfect game, you know, that I have absolutely zero gripes with whatsoever, because it's not a perfect game, and really, frankly, no game is going to be entirely perfect, especially when it comes to racing games, because racing and driving dynamics and cars and just community around cars and how we enjoy cars is extremely subjective, and what you might enjoy might be something that makes someone else not want to play a game at all. Like, there are some people out there that will look at the car list of a racing game, and if 2 or 3 of their favorite cars are not in it, they just won't play it. And do I think that that's like necessarily the best way to approach a racing game? No, but at the same time, I mean, I think again, these games and the enjoyment of these games is such a subjective experience that it's really hard to say this one good, this one bad. And we also see this happen a lot in comparisons between Forza Horizon and Motorfest, or rather just the Crew series in general, but Motorfest in most recent memory, of people talking about physics, because a lot of people will say, oh, well, I don't want to play that game because the physics are too arcadey or they're too unrealistic. And here's the thing. I think that a lot of people that play Horizon, for example, will say, well, it might not be the most realistic game out there, but it does have realism-inspired physics, and then that sort of emboldens them to go to other arcade racers and say, well, the one that I like is better solely because the driving dynamics are realism inspired. Because let's be completely honest here, the driving physics in Forza Horizon, while they are realism inspired, they are not a one-to-one simulation of reality. And the game doesn't claim that they are, but I think there are some people in the community that will take that approach with the physics and use that as a way to say, well, all of these other games that are in the genre are now automatically bad because they are not realism inspired. And now let's talk a little bit more in depth about my own personal feelings regarding Motorfest as a game. Do I find it fun? Yeah, I actually really enjoy it, and I think the physics are a major step up from the Crew 2, because I will be the first to tell you, I did not like the physics in the Crew 2. I did not like the way they felt. The cars felt like they had no weight whatsoever. They literally felt like they were the weight of like a piece of paper, and they felt like they also had a instantaneous pivot point that would not allow you to slide the car smoothly, and the handling just didn't feel natural. Whereas this handling model feels, while it is arcadey, it does feel a lot more natural than the physics model in the Crew 2 and even the Crew 1. Now, one of the things that I am not the biggest fan of in this game is the progression system. I wish it was a little bit more open in the way it let you progress through the sort of the campaign mode, and I wish there was a little bit of a difference, not only there, but also a difference in the way that it didn't lock you out of fast traveling for so long. And I get that it is a game about exploration, right? I get that it's a game based in the realm of wanting you to explore the world, but there are some times when, let's say, maybe you don't have the car you want just yet, or maybe you want to jump to a specific part of the map so you can do one specific thing, like you want to go on an off-road trailer, you want to do some drifting, or one thing or the other. I mean, it all comes down to what you want to do, and I think in a game like this, player freedom needs to be paramount, and I think it is in some areas and isn't in others, and that does take away from the experience a little bit. Now, in terms of things that I actually really do like about this game, I really like the map. The map is really enjoyable to explore. It's very pretty, and it's a lot more densely populated with interesting things than the map in the Crew 2 was. Now, granted, the map in the Crew 2 was massive, and if your primary reason for liking the Crew 2's map was its scale, this might not be the map for you. However, my issue that I had with the Crew 2's map was, while it was massive, I ended up getting bored in some of the explorations sometimes, because there were certain parts of the map that felt super lifeless, and I felt like I was just kind of driving across the surface of a desolate moon with nothing happening or going on. And this map, I find myself having a whole lot less of that. There are some areas where the map feels a little dead, but not to the point to where you would think to yourself, you know, there's nothing going on here. There's certainly always enough going on to keep you entertained. Now, look at this corner. I tried to avoid some of the carnage by going, well, way offline, and people started flying in from like every corner of existence, and I get pushed into the wall, I get thrown around, And then someone throws like a laugh emoji up above their car. This is the Motorfest online racing experience at the moment, especially if you're going up a hairpin mountain road. People will fly in from all angles, bounce off of walls, spear their car into yours, and try as you might to race cleanly, you really have to be willing to just throw your car into everything and or everyone, because if you don't, they will. And the only way to avoid this is to get way out in front right at the start of the race. And if you don't do that, you better be ready to basically engage in a all-out brawl, because that's what's about to happen. And it is also worth noting that currently there is no penalty for things like wall riding or ramming or smashing people off in this game. And so people will just ram into you with total reckless abandon. Like they will wall grind, they will smash into your car on the way into a corner. You have to race so defensively if you want to actually get anywhere that it's frankly comical. See, right there, they came all the way across the road solely to smash into me. And you'll also see this when someone goes off, like if they spin and they wind up off the track, they will drive back onto the racing surface literally perpendicular to everybody else, and since there's no ghosting system right now, they will roadblock you. I have been roadblocked in a pack of like 3-4 cars by one person that went off track. It caused a massive pileup and completely scrambled the running order of the race. Now you could say, well, maybe that's a good thing because it keeps the races more fluid, more chaotic, and they're chaotic. I'll tell you that. They're very chaotic, and they are fun when you get into some of the fun scenarios, but they can also be quite frustrating because in other ways, you might run into some scenarios that make you go, why the heck did you do that? Like, what possessed you to see the fact that everyone had gone off the track, or rather not everyone, but like that you yourself had gone off the track, and then there was a big group of cars coming, and then you literally drove back onto the surface totally sideways to block everybody. So I don't really know if there's a way you can curb that other than ghosting cars that are under a certain speed, which frankly, I don't understand why they don't do that already. But if you are also, or if you have been playing a lot of online races in the Crew Motorfest lately, let me know what you think they should add or change that might improve the online racing experience. But with all of that being said and done, those are my current thoughts on the Crew Motorfest. And if y'all would like to see more, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time.